2016 was arguably the year of the NES, which is pretty crazy considering that the system had came out 30 years prior to it, if not longer than 30 years prior to it. But everyone had the NES fever, and that was in part to the NES Classic, of course. It really started a resurgence, not only in just retro gaming, but in the NES itself, and everyone was, once again, super interested in the NES Classic. And yeah, it was hard to come by, and Nintendo definitely didn't make enough of them, but there was a positive aspect to it, and that was just that other companies were able to get in on the NES fever and create clone systems or different controllers, all sorts of cool stuff. And I love stuff like that. I love clone consoles. I love new controllers for old systems. I think it's great when this sort of stuff comes along. So obviously in 2017, the Super Nintendo is now popular because of the SNES Classic. And yes, there has been some drama surrounding the Walmart pre-order controversy, and there's still no pre-orders available, but Nintendo assures us that there will be an abundant stock and an abundant supply of these systems. I don't really believe them, but that's what they say. So obviously, with the Super Nintendo Classic on the horizon, other companies are going to start focusing efforts on Super Nintendo products. And today, just a few minutes ago, Hyperkin announced that they are getting into the Super Nintendo act in the home console market with a brand new system called the Supa Retron HD. So what is this new SNES system that they're coming out with? What's it all about? What are the details? I got you covered. So Hyperkin isn't really a stranger to the Super Nintendo game if you've been following their products, aside from, of course, the Retron 3 and the Retron 5, which play Super Nintendo cartridges, although the Retron 5 is through emulation. They also did the Supa Boy line, which was a portable Super Nintendo line. There are two versions of it. I have the original version, and I think it's honestly a pretty cool system, you know? I like it. It played pretty much every game I threw at it, and it was a nice way to play my Super Nintendo carts portably. Although lugging around Super Nintendo cartridges isn't exactly ideal, it was still fun, it's still a cool system, and I still like playing it. And recently, Hyperkin released the Retron HD, which was an NES clone system based on actual hardware. So the compatibility was better. Now, I did review it on the channel. Some of the games did have a little bit wonkier colors. I have been told that that is just due to a palette that they chose. You know, take it or leave it, I guess. But for most part, I thought a lot of the games looked good. Ninja Gaiden was definitely one that sort of stuck out as a game that I thought didn't look all that great color-wise. But they are back because obviously the Super Nintendo is popular. Obviously, a lot of people are looking forward to it with the Supa Retron HD. Now, what this system is, it's planned for a 2017 release to sort of piggyback off the success, or the presumed success, of the SNES Classic. Now, this system is a 720p output system, so you'll be able to play it on your HD TV. That's the whole point. Now, I don't know, they haven't announced yet if this is going to be emulation-based or hardware-based. I would assume that since the Retron HD was hardware-based, that this will also be hardware-based. I'm not sure if the Atari system that they're releasing is also hardware-based, but more than likely, if they're starting to mess with hardware-based systems, they will probably continue that because it's honestly better in the long run. So like I said, this will output at 720p, and it'll have two different resolutions, 16:9 and 4:3. So if you want to stretch it out and fill up your screen with 16:9, you can, or if you'd rather play it in the proper aspect ratio of 4:3, you can do that too. Now, that was a feature that was also on the Retron HD, so it's nice to see them carrying that over. Another really important thing that I think is actually really cool with this system is that you'll be able to use cartridges from any region, whether it's North America, Europe, or Japan. This will take all region cartridges. Now, compatibility may be an issue. I don't know how hard it is to do stuff like Mode 7 graphics and the Super FX chip. I imagine it can't be that bad though, because Mode 7 games and the Super FX chip games did work on the Supa Boy. So this should be able to throw, you should be able to throw any game at it and it should be able to play it. Hopefully, you know, that remains to be seen. Of course, I will do a review of one of these on the channel. Now, another thing I like is sort of the styling of it. There's only one picture floating around on the internet right now. That's from Hyperkin's development team themselves. So, you know, this thumbnail's going to be really hard to make, but it does look cool. It has sort of a Super Famicom styling to it. And that's pretty much it. It'll have two controller ports. There's no price point revealed. There's no release date revealed, but they did say they are shooting for a 2017 release. I hope it's reasonably priced because honestly, it's going to be tough to get a Super Nintendo Classic, let's face it. And multi-carts are a bit expensive with Super Nintendo games, but they are out there. You can get a multi-cart of Super Nintendo games with a decent variety of games, or you could just buy that and buy an EverDrive and be done with it. Because let's face it, you're going to be paying scalper prices more than likely for the SNES Classic because it's Nintendo. I mean, what are you gonna do? So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Information, like I said, has just been released. I wasn't even gonna film tonight. I was eating pizza and watching some old wrestling, Survivor Series 91 actually, and then this came across my news feed and I was like, shit, all right, I'm the retro news guy, right? You know, this is why I'm here. I gotta do a video on this. So am I interested in the system? Totally. I liked the Retron HD. I didn't love it, but I liked it. I thought it was a good system. So it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening with this. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think of the Supa Retron HD, which is the HD SNES clone console from Hyperkin. And as always, thanks for watching this video. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and I will catch you guys next time. Later.
RGT 85, RGT 85. RGT 85.